In the last 3 years, I've accomplished a lot when it comes to running. And to be honest, I've accomplished some things that take a lot of people decades or some people will never do in their whole career with running. I've done 10 marathons in 10 days. I've set course records for a 100-mile race, a 50-mile race. I did 550Ks in 5 days. And there's something specific that's really helped me get through some of these challenges. Obviously, when you're in the shit, when it just sucks, you're on day 7 out of 10 when it comes to 10 marathons, or you're 70 miles into a 100-mile race. You could be 20 miles into a 100-mile race and be thinking, I got 80 miles to go. When you're in the shit, you don't have a whole lot of motivation or good feelings to pull you out of that, right? Because I can get excited planning a new event or thinking about what it'll be like when I finish X. But in the shit, when you're in it, you got to be able to find some strategies to pull you out of it. And I found one that works really well. I have many, but this mantra, this saying really helps me. And what it boils down to is you have to have an amazing, incredible, and particularly difficult, challenging goal, a long-term goal. When COVID hit in 2020, me and my best friend moved to Alaska. We moved out of St. George, Utah, which is our home, and we took a 5-day road trip, drove from St. George, Utah to Anchorage, Alaska. And first, I mean, the travel, the road trip was so much fun. It was a blast. We had so many good conversations and listened to good music. My poor dog, Yowie, had to sit in the back for 5 days straight. And when we got there, I was driving for DoorDash and I was doing stuff to just pay the bills, but I didn't want to work too much. I wanted to be able to pay my bills and spend a lot of time to myself. So Aiden and I did a lot of hiking, and I did a lot of running, and I did a lot of meditating, and what I did a lot of was watching YouTube documentaries on ultra running. And I watched ones on Western States and Badwater and listened to Ava Goggins' audiobook and really started to dive into ultra running. There's a documentary that stood out to me, or actually a couple that stood out to me on YouTube, where it was people doing a transcontinental run, which is running from one coast or one end of the United States of America and running to the other. Most people do west to east coast. And I would watch these documentaries on this, and I thought, wow, what an incredibly exciting journey. Obviously very difficult, but almost like this spiritual awakening or this incredible feat that even fewer people will do than people. There's a decent amount of people who ran 100-mile races. If you ran a 100-mile race, you're definitely far above average. But to run across the entire country, 3,100 miles is insane. And the record, I believe, as of right now, is doing that in 43 days, something like that, running 72 miles a day. And I don't know where this came from, but I have a dream to run across the entire United States in 44 days. What I want to be able to do is do 75 miles a day and hopefully beat that fastest known time for running across the country. Well, why am I telling you this story? Well, if I'm going to be able to do that, I'm going to have to be able to do these way less difficult and less challenging things. A 100-mile race is incredibly challenging. Running 10 marathons in 10 days is challenging. But if I can't run 10 marathons in 10 days, how the hell am I ever supposed to be able to set the fastest known time running across the entire country? So this is the mantra or the strategy or this conversation I have in my head when things are tough, is I'll tell myself, this is not the hardest thing I'll ever do. But if I don't do this, how am I supposed to run across the country? This is not the most difficult thing I am ever going to do. So if I can't do this, how am I supposed to run across the entire country? How am I supposed to achieve my dreams? And so because I've set this incredible feat out there, which I don't think it'll even happen for a decade, this is a very long-term goal and plan of mine, it puts things into perspective when you're in the moment of something difficult. And I mean, heck, I use this even in a short workout or a 6-mile run that I don't want to do. And I tell myself, if I can't do this, how am I supposed to achieve my dreams? And so I don't think you need to choose an outrageous goal. I don't think it needs to be something crazy like running across the country or running across the country faster than anyone else ever has done. And it just needs to be something that is tougher than what you're currently doing. If you have a dream to run a 3-hour marathon and your fastest is a 4-hour, and You just need to break it up into chunks over the years and get to 3:45 and then 3:30, right? If your dream is a 3-hour marathon and you're in the moment of the race where you're shooting for a 3:30 marathon, well, in that moment, you can remind yourself, I want to run this 3-hour marathon someday, and if I can't run this 3:30, how am I ever supposed to run the 3-hour marathon? So it puts things into perspective, and that's something to think about. And if you don't have something like that, I would take the time to write it down. It doesn't have to be with running, obviously. Maybe it's you want to bench 315 someday, and if you can't bench 225, how are you ever supposed to be able to bench 315? This is a mindset and a conversation in my head that has helped me through many things. It helped me through a 100-mile race where I just felt beat up and blown up 30 miles in, so I still had another 70 miles to go, and I was reminding myself, I want to run across the country. If I can't finish out this 100-mile marathon, how am I supposed to ever achieve my goals? How am I supposed to ever achieve my dreams? It's helped me through the 10 marathons in 10 days. It's helped me through just easy runs or workouts. And it's something I try and remind myself very often that I need to do, that I'm nowhere close to achieving the hardest thing I'll ever do in my life. So if I can't do what I'm doing today, how am I supposed to ever achieve that dream? So this is something that's absolutely helped me. It's about putting things into perspective, and it's having a dream and a goal that's so important to you that when you're in the shit, when you're in the toughest part of whatever, when you're in hell, that you remind yourself that you have bigger dreams to accomplish, so you have to finish what you're currently doing. That's something that's helped me. I hope that helps you. I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you on the trails sometime soon.